Good evening, you're watching another episode of the Golden Bee Revolution, coming to you on iAfrica every Thursday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. As you know, we are on the discussions in domestic violence in our society. One will inquire, is there any domestic violence in the Gambia here, or is there any rise or fall of these crimes in the Gambia here? But today, I have with me a gentleman, Chief Superintendent Mr. Modu Sow, who is here to assist me on discussing on this topic. As you see from our flyers, we advertise that we will be having another person to join us, who is no other person but Ms. Mariama Danso, who is a gender activist. But due to the ongoing crisis at the University of the Gambia, student and lecturers relationship, so she couldn't make it today because she got an emergency meeting to address. This is very, very important, and we respect you on this move, and we wish you all the best with your team in this, because University of the Gambia's cry is everyone's cry, because they are the highest institutions of learning in the Gambia here, and we wish you all the best in addressing these issues. There is no problem without solve, and the best to address this issue is using dialogue. So with that, we wish you all the best in this. Coming down to him, Mr. Sow, being so energetic, being so resourceful, being the man of the moment, being the person who everyone looks into. Looking at your record before coming into office, the anti-crime unit was more like there was a slogan which were used: the people that needs to protect us are the people harassing us, which was something which would really remain in the hearts of the people who were victimized within that. But thank God that since your arrival at this position, being the commander of the anti-crime unit, we've never had any complaint or seen any complaint on social media or elsewhere that complaining that you are being brutalized by the anti-crime unit, but then you're always addressing the issues as how it is. I wish to congratulate you, and I wish to thank you so much for protecting the Gambian life. Our eyes are everywhere. We will be looking around anytime there are things to discuss which is affecting the Gambian citizens, we will discuss it. But also we wouldn't go blind to address things that you've done compliment. We must raise our thumbs up to you people to say, bravo, keep it up. What you're doing is really amazing. And thank you so much for having you at the Golden Bee Revolution. I would like to say welcome to our another editions.
Okay, thank you very much. And it is a pleasure for me to join this program. As you have highlighted, my name is Chief Superintendent Modu Sow. I am the Commandant of the Police Anti-Crime Unit. First of all, I will thank the viewers, and I also thank the organizers of this program for welcoming me, for inviting me to attend this program. Sure. I also take this opportunity to thank the Office of the Inspector General of Police, who have given me the permission to come and attend this program and share my ideas in connection to domestic violence.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
I will call this right man in the right position, hence we haven't got any complaint from anyone that your team has brutalized the Gambian citizens. All you've seen is a positive record. Following to the Police Home magazine, which is also official media for the police activists been reported, we've seen that almost in the month of May, where 800 plus criminals were arrested, or people that must have committed a crime related in the Gambia here. This is a kudos. One will say there is no rise of crime in the Gambia here, but I think this is the first time from my side, and I believe in my team too, because we do have a kind of, like, we have a meeting and we discuss certain things, but this is the first time we've seen that a record of 800 people been arrested with issues related to crimes in the Gambia here. This is a wake-up call, I will call it, and since then, the following month, a report haven't been mentioned, but I am pretty sure it must have gone down. 800 been arrested. I think that's a very, very big number. But I would still like to push this to you, for my audience to hear this from you. Is there any rise in crime in the Gambia here, or do you think it's as it is said?
Okay, thank you very much. I know the statistics will speak for itself, but for now, by looking at the trend of the crime has reduced drastically. Oh. Since the inception of the Operation Zero Crime, since in the month of March, I think the operation started on the 2nd of April 2020. Oh. This was as a result of, because before the commencement of Operation Zero Crime, if people can notice, there was an alarming rate of crime happening. Yeah. Almost everybody was a bit scared of even moving out. Yeah. Although probably people might exaggerate it, it was not that much alarming, but it was a bit high when it comes to especially breaking, robberies on the street, and also some violence related to like stabbing of people, and as a result, some of them even lost their lives. So since the police command, at times when such happen, the command has to sit and come up with strategies on how to reduce crime. So that was as a result of the new Inspector General of Police, when he was then the DIG, he was not yet appointed as the Inspector General of Police, come together, sit with his sister services, that is involving all the sister services in the Gambia, including all of them. So they come up and then they form this task force called Operation Zero Crime. When it comes, it involves all the sister services, and we all come together and strategize and see how best we can minimize crime. Although the term people might say, yes, zero crime, yes, of course, crime cannot be zero. It's just the name it comes in, but crime cannot be zero. But it's just to minimize the crime, and I think it has paid dividends because of recent, if you look at the crime trend and also looking at, I cannot say the statistics, I cannot bring the statistics of the crime rate, but by looking at the trend and how it was happening, drastically one can say the crime has reduced drastically. And then the patrols pay dividends because definitely police visibility on the street is very important. Because if we cannot stop crime completely, but once crime are committed, we should be able to detect and arrest people who involved in crime. So definitely, we can say kudos to the Office of the Inspector General of Police, together with all other sister services. We cannot do this alone. It is a support of the central government. The central government also come in and support in terms of logistics, because at times the police doesn't have all the logistics required. But the central government come in, all sister services come in, and then they put in their logistics, so it pays dividends. Yes.
So, thank you so much for elaborating onto this until when you come up to the central government. What would be your suggestions to this? If one would say maybe the Operation Zero Crime was delayed, or what took, why does it have to take that long before the zero crime come into play?
Okay, those are strategic questions that need to be addressed by our senior management, but I think this was a wise move because it came at the right time.
Absolutely.
Because in policing, things unfold. And as things unfold, that's how the senior management also will come and strategize on how to reduce things. Even though crime was happening, but it came to a time it became an alarming when everybody was a bit scared because of what there are factors. There are factors there are a lot of factors in the rise of crime, but I think the senior management or the police command see it definitely. We need to come together because even though anti-crime is a patrol unit, we have been doing our level best because patrols, as I always said, is a proactive policing. We do more on proactive policing. That is to patrol around to minimize crime being happening, or else if a crime has been committed, then we arrest the individuals who involved in crime. So definitely, I think the command see things unfold as strategies come as how things unfold.
Or one will say you must have probably been planning your card on how to approach this.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Before I will come to the approach of the community helping this to make it happen, would you, because being the commander of the anti-crime unit, you must have been familiar with the regular crimes happening. Would you like to talk on a few of these, the crimes which are very, very common here?
Of course, I would love to speak about most of the crimes that we receive on a daily basis. At times, most of the cases that we receive are related to theft, and also related to, because theft we have in different forms. Theft could be in a form of burglary. That is, when you said burglary, it means when somebody came at night and then break into somebody's building and then was able to go away with valuables. That one is termed as burglary. And also, there's another one that we call breaking and stealing. Actually, that one happened normally during the day. So when somebody enter into somebody's building and either broke the door or the window and enter and steal valuables, that one is categorized under breaking.
Okay.
So there are other forms of theft like robbery. For example, when somebody use a weapon against you and in the execution of the act, the person either threaten you.
The use of scissors?
Yes,
or
use
knives,
of scissors or either use of knives or cutlasses
I wouldn't say
against
gun
you.
because gun hardly
Yes, at times we do, but it's not very common in Gambia.
Okay.
At times we experience armed robberies, especially the famous one that happened in Old Joshua, involving roughly about 16 to 17 million.
Wow.
That one, we were told that arms were involved. They were armed with weapons, like guns. So it's very minimal. At times we receive such complaints, but also we do receive complaints of domestic violence and also complaints of stabbing.
Stabbing, okay.
Yes.
So with regard to this, like if you want to minimize this, sometimes this that you have mentioned must have been affecting households or maybe institutions. But also, I believe, how would one address this, like crimes against gender-based violence, maybe in terms of rape cases or other sexual abuse against women, or maybe we talk about some little crimes that are happening at home. Maybe one will call it maybe little will be an understatement, or maybe it's a foul word to use here, but now violence is little. So do you also intervene in these areas?
Of course, as a police officer, you don't have any limitation when it comes to crime.
Okay.
Even though anti-crime is not the unit that handles much of those domestic violence cases, but we cannot do it because we are police officers. We do receive complaint of such. And what is more important is when such cases happen, they are very sensitive cases which need to be handled with care and caution. Because let's say, for example, rape. When an incident of rape is reported, because the victim must be protected.
Sure.
And the protection of the victim is very important, and it is a concern to the police itself. Because at times, if like a female or a lady that is involved in a rape case, sometimes, most of the time, it involves minors, and minors need to be protected. So when such happen, even in our reporting forum or in the way we report things, we sometimes don't even mention the names of the victims. Okay. And also when pictures of such happen, we always protect them, because we need not to share them with other people, because at times, even if you share it in our normal reporting line, it could mistakenly go viral or go any other place. So those are things that need to be, that we put our minds on. We need to protect the victim. Is very important when it comes to issues of domestic violence.
Wow, that's very beautiful. After having an overview or maybe a side of the domestic violence or maybe the crimes we have in the Gambia here, being the head of anti-crime unit, you must have, like I said earlier, you must have come across so many violences in the country here, especially that must have connection to domestic violences. Which of these crimes must have given you a total headache that you think, wow, this one is too strong, and perhaps move off like me, I'll call it back like before having a result to that?
Okay, actually, there is a new form of crime that is not much common it was not much common in the Gambia, and of recent we have been seeing it at times. It comes to our office on reports, especially people. At times, youths, people date, and then sometimes they do share pictures. Okay. Sometimes people might tend to have problems in their relationship, and sometimes they send these nude pictures. Nude pictures, yeah. So sometimes we do receive cases of such where somebody will threaten somebody, if you don't do certain demands, I will share your nude pictures in the social media. Sure. So those are things that are not very common in Gambia, so but of recent it has surfaced. People we have been receiving complaint of such, and at times even the investigations, we need to be very careful at times when we are investigating, because if such has to go, and the Gambia is known with the culture, with what we have, seeing somebody's naked picture in social media counts a lot. Sure. And then here we are a Muslim country. We can say we are a country
by religion.
Religion, sure. Especially we are majority of us are Muslims and Christians. Absolutely. So and it's not condoned in any of those religions. Okay. So if such happen, at times it gives us some headaches when it comes to their investigations.
That's very beautiful, like being a common issue here, which is having connection to cyber crimes and the like, because most of these cyber crimes that we receive are usually photo made, like you call it Photoshop and the like.
Yeah.
After having that incident with a person's name I want to withhold, but it went very big, who is aspiring to become a politician now, how far have that case gone on? Will you like to talk about that, or you just want to suspend it?
Can you remind me?
Yeah, the Mr. Bojang's case, who was been a victim of cyberbullying and not videos which was circulating.
Yeah, of course, I might not go deep into it because it was not an issue that my office has handled, but I know these are things that people need to be very careful because sometimes, politics, at times people might play, but these are things that I don't think it's even is decent in our politics, that somebody using somebody's nude picture just to go and tarnish the person's image, because one's image is very important, and everybody is from a family. Sure. If such people can use somebody's image and try to tarnish the person's image or try to bring down the person's career, is not something that we, the police, we will encourage anybody to do. Sure. Because definitely when it comes to politics, we are not, we don't play that much that role too, because we are partial, and then we don't involve in politics, because even that one is, we have been advised that we should avoid being involved in politics. But such, when it comes, definitely people should be very mindful, because people are from societies and we are from families, because at times you might, the family member of the person, even if you are not connected, but the family, you have to think of the family member of that person. Sure. Because he is from a society. Sure. He have kids, he have families, he have sisters, he have brothers. So if you have to use that one as a weapon against that person, that means you are causing a big damage on the person. Sure. So definitely we will encourage people to desist from such. Sure. Let nothing make you to use a nude picture or use somebody's nude picture and try to damage the person's career. Definitely we are discouraging such. We are not a party to it, and we will never support it.
My final question before we go on a break, as we are getting ourselves familiar with the crimes that you address in the country here and the most stubborn crime that must have happened. My final question will be, did you overcome any, have you ever come across any complaint from the society where your team has been accused of committing those crimes? Because we've seen in the past, sometimes the military is accused of, a military personnel will be accused of carrying marijuana and the like. So maybe you will be thinking of like a case in which happened in Nyomi, where a military man took off a gun and had a gun been fired in air and the like. So have your team ever been accused of such?
Okay, I think that question is very important, and I have to highlight more on it. Actually, the unit, since I take up the mantle of leadership in this unit as the anti-crime commander, we have never been, there's none of my staff who is a victim or who is being accused of either abusing somebody or malhandling somebody. Oh. So definitely we have been very careful, because at times the people talks a lot and they said sometimes anti-crime is heavy-handed, the way they handle people. So we are very careful. We always try to do our things confined within the limits of the law, because whatever you are doing in this Gambia, the law speaks louder than whatever you are doing. Absolutely. So whatever we are doing, definitely we try to look at the law and what the powers the law give us. At times, in certain situations, people might act in a way, but definitely of recent anti-crime, we have not been having such issues. No. Yes.
That's very beautiful. That comes as my last question to you. Why I brought this provocative question is, you have replaced someone who has been accused of malhandling someone, wherein it was said that he hit someone at the genital area, which could have resulted to a bodily damage to the person. And I thank God that even with our research that came to us that about you, because before we bring you to the TV show, we must have done a background history of you. So in that we were informed that since you took in, no complaint came to your desk that your team were really brutal, or maybe they victimized, or they were kind of like not acting according to the laws of the country. Once again, I will say congratulations to you on this, and I hope this trend will continue. Like I said earlier, it could have been the right man in the right position. We've seen in the Gambia here several times people will be replaced by the ones we think that will be defending the country's law, but instead they will be the one that will be harsher than the one who was even there. So with that, we'll just go for a short break. When we come back, our discussions will continue as we're discussing on getting ourselves familiar with the domestic violence within the country, and how to the next thing will be, how do we address this, and what are some of the things that the police need to ensure that they maintain the policies of this country.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, africell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, africell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be $10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to $30,000. Meaning your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back. A quick reminder, coming along Alba Golden Bee Revolution Nigeria, a TV show wherein we advocate on things affecting the lives of the Gambian, and also we discuss on things that will help us to improve our living standard. So with that, we are on a team called End Domestic Violence. One will query, can we end domestic violence? But let's maintain it there because we could really do a lot to minimize it. Remember, we always sing the Gambia as the most peaceful country in the world, but then it is surprising to hear that the Gambia is ranked the 60th most peaceful country in the world. Not the first 10th, not the second, not the third, but the 60th. Are we prepared to bring this down? The countries that have achieved this to be the most peaceful country in the world, it is within themselves. They work as a nation and they did it. So why not the Gambia? Let's defend ourselves with our country's national flag, which is red, white, blue, white, green. When I always tell the people, the first white is for the morning, and then the second white is for in the evening. Let's have peace in the morning and peace in the evening. Together, we will live for peace. We will live in peace. It is simple. Smile together. Appreciate each other's our diversity should not cause us apart. Nor our opinions should really separate us or call us to become enemies. Tribal wars, tribal conflict, difference in political ideologies, and the like shouldn't cause us apart. Let us just smile together now. Gambia sana yale kan sindi nyokana and na nyomdo nyokana kanu. With that, we continue our discussions on the end domestic violence. With me here is Chief Superintendent Mr. Sow. I wish you were a Jahanka. I call it here because Floni Jahankol Tiomola. To continue with this, my first question will on this side will be, you've been addressing issues, and there are some things, despite we haven't got any record from your team that you've performed outside your limit, or that would have been maybe harassing human rights, or maybe that would have been like illegal act. Do you think your department needs a capacity building? Because as the life as we live in, you must be introduced to new crimes. Perhaps there are some other criminals who are living in the country here, is still not aware of them, but passing through some capacity building programs will help you to address these issues, and then we still maintain the peace to maintain that title we give to ourselves, the Smiling Coast of Africa.
Thank you very much. I think that one is very important. I know there is no training that is enough, and capacity building is very important when it comes to an institution. For the anti-crime unit, when I took over as the commandant, the first thing I did was to do a refresher course for all the officers,
Okay.
and improve on their capacity. Even though we are fully trained, we know what we do, but it is important to conduct refresher courses. So in that courses, we even invite the National Human Rights Commission that came and give us lectures in related to human rights and how we should handle issues of human rights. So I think training is very vital, and then the unit need it, because by looking at the trend of the crime and how things are happening, especially when it comes to some of these cyber crimes, which are very complicated, because at times how these people commit some of these crimes, if you are not much conversant with the technology or the computer, you might not detect some of those crimes. I think capacity building is very important. And when it comes to human rights, even though you have praised me for not being wanted for violating people's rights or any other such, but it is very important for us to be trained when it comes to human rights, because human rights is very vital when it comes, because somebody who deals with a lot of people and then you arrest a lot of people, and you need to also respect their rights, and then at times it is difficult because you need to do a lot of trainings in order for people to understand where your rights end, that's where some other person's rights start. So definitely the rights of the people, we are very concerned when it comes to even arresting, detention, and looking at the level of the number of days the person should be detained when it comes to the crime they have committed, because the law gave us the mandate to arrest and detain within the 72 hours, and also within that 72 hours, if you cannot put the person on at court, then you can either release the person unconditionally or either on that is condition, that is on bail.
Okay.
So definitely we are also very much concerned. It's not easy at times. Certain cases within 72 hours you cannot able to detect or even complete whatever you need to put the person before court.
Okay.
And there are some cases they are very sensitive. Probably putting the person on bail also could have tampered with the investigation goals, but definitely they need a serious scrutiny. But definitely we are very much aware of the 72 hours, and we always try to observe such. So as you said, training, capacity building is never enough.
Okay.
And that is even the senior management of the police always advocate. Okay. And we even call on, they normally call on the UN bodies to come in and support, because definitely I can remember there was a series of trainings before that famous 3 years journal. A lot of people have been trained on public order management, and then especially also we are geared to these elections. We need the police need a lot of training, not only the police but the security. So training is very paramount when it comes to, because it makes you cannot be perfect. There is no human being who is perfect, but at least it lead you to direction of being perfect in your duties.
Oh, that's very beautiful.
Yeah.
My other question will be, perhaps this will be a provoke to the government or to the politicians in the country here. Looking at the political arena here, almost every political party is equipped with heavy vehicles, motorbikes and the like, which is pushing me to ask this question. Why is it that the police is not equipped with lots of vehicles? Sometimes you will have issues like you will have a case at home or a crime to address. Sometimes visiting the police station will be like, there's no car here, you have to hire a taxi, which is going to add more burden to the person that is reporting the case, or maybe people will be like, look, I think we need to address this at home before going to the police station. Is this also happening to the anti-crime unit?
Actually, logistics is a challenge when it comes to the Gambia police force. It's not only anti-crime or any other, because anti-crime, we are part of the Gambia police force.
Yeah.
Even us, we face a lot of challenges when it comes to logistics. Even though we have some vehicles, but at times vehicles might get breakdowns, they need some maintenance. So vehicle is never enough when it comes to police, because definitely if we have to get enough vehicles, that it means each police station should have a vehicle that can respond to when it comes to crime. Yeah. But definitely, the government is doing their level best. I know it's not easy, because police is not the only institution that is under the government. Okay. And then there are a lot of things that they do.
Okay.
But definitely logistics is a challenge in the Gambia Police Force, and it's a challenge in most of the sister services. So if anybody can assist in helping the police or helping, because one thing sometimes I said the business people should come in.
Oh.
Because when you look at security, the business also counts a lot.
Okay.
Because when the country is peaceful, business is booming.
Yeah, it flows, economic growth.
And then when criminality is too much, it might hinder business.
Yeah.
Because, for example, today you have seen what has happened in, like in Joshua.
In Joshua, yeah.
You put all your efforts, how many years working on that. One day somebody come and took. We are not happy seeing some of these crimes happening.
Yeah.
But at times, I think the business community should also come in and assist, especially this, like, for example, the insurance company. I always said this, every time it's police who are enforcing people to pay insurance. Mm-hmm. So I know they do assist, but I think the insurance companies, the banks, and all other institutions should come in and support the security. Not per se only police, but generally the security. Okay. Because once the country is secured, criminality has gone down, business can boom, and everybody can work freely. Investors can come into the country. So I think logistic support is needed for the police, for any other institutions that involve in security.
Yeah. Another one to this, looking at the shape of, after discussing about some of these, I think only one thing was mentioned, that is the vehicle side. What are some of the things that you think, when it comes to logistics, to aid your work? Because sponsoring your people, sponsoring your department will help to reduce the rate of crimes happening in the country, and then will make the country as peaceful as working freely as here, because I think this room is secured as it is.
Yes.
So could you mention perhaps?
No, it's actually most of the priorities is a vehicle, because movements, when it comes to fast movements, we always think about vehicles.
Okay.
But not only, the challenge is not only vehicles, because motorbikes also are needed, because once you get a motorbike, most of the times we use the motorbikes to go and go on surveillance, because if you want to send people to go and make surveillance or find information, motorbikes can move in most of the terrains. Yeah. And not only that, because police we work with, we use handcuffs. Okay. Even the uniform at times is a challenge. I know the police is doing a lot when it comes to uniform. Okay. And other gazette, like, because the anti-crime at times we use taser lights, we use paper spray, which is sometimes we caution our people on how to use them, but these are things that at times that will help us when situations are a bit tense. Sure. Because you can use them to arrest the situations only to when it is needed. Sure. So those are most of the things that we need can help, because also when it comes to riots, because helmets and all buttons and seals, which I know the government is doing a lot on when it comes to such, but those are most of the things that once we get them, they can make our work very easy. Oh. Even though some people can go up to external miles, and we use taser guns, which in other countries they have been used, but they are not much harmful, but they can quickly help you to neutralize threats.
Okay.
Yes.
So, a final one, like with the Golden Bee Revolution, one thing when we invite you to our show, we try to also suggest things that we think could help. And if these things will be in line with what you do, we really appreciate it to see you act on this. How about if I suggest to you, most of this crime that you mentioned, especially when I provoke to know which is one of those stubborn crimes that you are having difficulties to address, well, it has to do with technology. How about teaming up or maybe forming partnership with any institutions that is providing digital literacy? Perhaps you have colleges, you have lots of colleges in the Gambia here. One of the partners of the college that we work with is a Smart Professional College, where you can use IC3 as a tool where you can develop your capacity into this, cyber security and the like. Wouldn't this be a beautiful suggestion to you, where you could partner with them, then they help build your capacity in these areas, then the Gambia will be safe?
Of course, I think that one, the police command will buy that idea, because definitely when it comes to training, and especially such courses, because some of the courses are a bit expensive, sure. But if somebody want to give it to you on a free basis, or want to partner with you to see how best officers can be trained, because training is very vital. Sure. And when it comes to cybercrime, it needs a lot of technicalities. Oh. So definitely when officers are trained in such, and then we have partners who want to assist in police in training people, I think it's a welcoming idea, even though I'm not the person to approve some of those things, but I think it is something that the police command will welcome, and then we would want to partner with any other person who want to assist in terms of building the capacity of the Gambia Police Force.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this is something that we will put into consideration. I hope they are watching and they will be very pleased with this. To make a quick move to this, cyber security is one of the most important areas that we really need to cover as the world is moving. We call it a digital world. Some call it this modern world. It all has to do with technology. If one is not equipped well with this, I'm scared. I don't know how the next narrations will be.
Although we have most of the cyber-related crimes, there's a fraud and commercial unit of the Gambia Police Force. Okay. They are the specialized unit that they have. Most of them have training when it comes to such. Okay. When such cases, we receive such complaints and then arrests are made, they are always referred to the fraud squad at the police headquarters. Yeah. I know there are a lot of people who have certain training, but training is not enough, as I said. Yeah. And before some of these things, you need certain equipments to be able to detect some of these crimes. I think any support that is needed, can help in making sure that some of those crimes can be easily detected, and then we try to arrest culprits and then put them before court. Because definitely cybercrime is something that is also been detected when sometimes we go on patrols. Oh.
Yeah. Outside your position as the chief superintendent in the police, and also the commander of anti-crime unit, I want to seek your personal opinion in this. How do you feel knowing that the same perpetrators are the people, one will call it reoccurring crimes, the same people that have been jailed, then released on bail, commits a crime, or they are jailed for a few years or few months, then when they are released, they're the same people repeating this. It's more like in the Gambia here, looking at the crime rate, or the people that we call them perpetrators, or people that embark on these crimes, are the same people. How do you feel seeing this happening?
Definitely, that is true, because most of the people that commit crimes, they are taken to court, taken to mile 2, they will come back again and commit crime. Even some of them, even when they commit a crime, you take them, they got bail at the courts, sure. They will continue committing crimes. It's a challenge, and the institution, the prisons are the one responsible when it comes to rehabilitating people, because once you are taken to jail, I think you need to be rehabilitated so that you can go back to the society and become a good person. Wow. So the prisons have a greater tax when it comes to such. But I know them too, they have a lot of challenges, because definitely if somebody is being jailed before, I think the person being released should be either be trained on certain skills or rehabilitated in a way whereby if the person finishes his jail term, he'll become a complete changed person. Oh. So, but if such is not happening, definitely it is also disturbing the security, and it is hindering the security, because if somebody commit a crime, you took him to the court, the person is taken to jail, or the person is bailed, at the end of the day, the same person come and commit the same crime. Okay. So it means it is like rotating, the same people. It's difficult when it comes to such, but definitely I think the prisons play a greater role when it comes to such. Yeah, I know they do have some challenges, but definitely they should try to help in when it comes to such.
Okay, another opinion I want to push to you, like I said, the Golden Bee Revolution, we don't only hear from you, yes. But we try to share something. Yeah. I remembered when I was in school, back in the primary school days, once my teacher said, we give class prefect or class captain role to people who we think are very stubborn, so to neutralize them. Don't you think this will also play a better role in hiring some of these inmates that like ex-convict, because they are familiar with the crimes they do, hence they know it. And perhaps we've seen this in movies, or some countries might also say we rely on hiring these criminals to help us investigating this. Do you think this will be do you think this is doable in the Gambia, wherein these ex-convicts that we think maybe, I know someone is at right now in Mile 2 who is very, very vast with computer. I know someone is very, very vast with these break and enter cases, and some cases related to this. They could be so helpful, and you can even employ them, have them in the system where they will also help you in investigating this, because address no. Wouldn't this make sense, or do you think Gambia is not prepared for this?
It may make sense, but I think it needs a lot of discussion, because the laws, when it comes to recruitment or selecting somebody, if you are once convicted, you are not even qualified to be selected as a police officer.
Okay.
So I don't know how will it be. It could be a partnership to help, but I think we did not reach to that level.
Okay.
Because if you recruit somebody who is let's say involved in criminality, and then the mechanism to monitor that person, that he might not even connive with criminals to give them information.
Yeah, so it requires lots of preparation.
It requires a lot of things that somebody need to, because it may have advantage, but it may have also disadvantages.
Okay.
But I think it need to be looked at properly before one will buy the idea. Probably I might not for now. For me, I might not buy the idea for now.
Okay.
Because definitely we are not prepared for it, and then we don't have that mechanism of looking or even controlling. Even our own officers sometimes may even misbehave.
Sure. Okay.
So if that control mechanism is not there, because in other places like in America, when this George Floyd, when they were doing the trials,
yes,
you can see officers' body cam were being viewed, and everything that they have been doing, it was being recorded, and then they can play, people can see it.
So would you suggest like the Gambia also to work on this, providing body cams for the security, so we could also know in every cases that you're going through?
Yeah, well, I think before we even reach to provide body cams, I think we need to
provide the vehicles.
If we have CCTVs
inside our offices, that's a very beautiful
our
way.
offices, but even on the streets.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
before you monitor what the officer is doing,
you have to monitor
on the street first.
Okay.
So the body cam is needed. I know it will monitor what the officer. It's monitor more what the officers will do, but I think we need to see what is happening outside than monitoring actually what the
an individual.
Yes,
okay.
because definitely I think we need more CCTVs on our streets, especially a very busy place like let's say Westfield, because at times when certain serious robberies happen, police find it very difficult to identify certain, because if we have CCTVs everywhere, probably if the vehicle move from that direction, then you will know where it passed through, and then it will help in any way. A lot of people now are using CCTVs as a way or as a security, but you see now the system, people are trying to beat it.
I hope they will not keep recording the fullest actions, not the jahankas.
Because at times now, most of them, when they go out, they just try to cover or even use this face mask sometimes.
I know,
but definitely, let me just take this opportunity to also warn people, even though you cover your face or this thing, there are a lot of things that we check, not only the face.
Sure.
Somebody can be recognized not only through the facial. So criminals, be warned that even if you cover your face, you go and break, CCTV catch you, the police will arrest you one day.
Criminals, be warned, if you think you will act like that, a fuller man that will just come to a Jahanga's house by covering your face, the camera will not get you. It is going to be a mistake. On a serious note, we will just go for a final break. When we come back, a discussion continues.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sans is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sans, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back. A quick reminder, it's Golden Bee Revolution coming to you on iAfrica every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. With me today is Chief Superintendent, Mr. Momodu Sow. I will add Swara there. He's my full barindingo here, or my fulandingo, I will call it. Despite Amaja Hanka, we have this joke relationship we share. Gambia dia kata minti lamba nyana kamina ulo na sanawia. Sanawia ya tinale isi ini momi manke la si client la ina sa kachano asa kuma funo nyoma la jana nyokana. Bari biti lola nyina tala nkomba mineta ka wolonka adol ta mi yanke manke na slot la katina funda malka nyina nyola nga kamfanyo kana na sanawia ni nga sembentu yandi na bombandi sembola nga jamal fa ka fami tribal wala and likely it will never exist within us because minamo Gambian be mo kilinati after that as we were discussing on the second phase, which is like having the capacity building or maybe programs that would really aid the anti-crime unit to really do their job effectively, and also the logistics which are missing could build them. Mbala for nataning local Kangwa Damandina, Gambian national languages today, because the areas we were discussing was to give an overview of what you do and also what is lacking, Purka Connect. But this is the most important part of the program. We will discuss issues that will really prevent this happening. And in doing that, we have to speak a language that will help us to target the wider view. And with this, I am comfortable, despite it is not going to be every language, but the most spoken language, if I may be honest to my opinion, is Mandinka language. And I'm very happy for Tani Wakarola. Kakacha kula mi yalan komendron komanto da minkata minkata anti-crime law county la. Allah law county mbala fla ya summarize in 3 minutes la drong no wolon jela en senadum kacha kono mimba kala mina kala banko dingo lo nyati la pour ka alfa sa kanin problème wal bay Gambia kono.
Okay, barka bake yemi for commenting. Gambia, this joker relationship helps a lot. Anti-crime, telong commander of the police anti-crime unit, and na dogo fundamental wolong kata murumurong la ka patrol okay, puruka make sure that crime man happen or ni crime nadara crime keta za jibembe crime yang control la nyame. So na kacha bi wolong nga kujamale kacha ngalon ne hakilo to do abe mala no bare just to summarize o nga fenge nga min kacha maybe mbakele nyaming ebe nyinin kala le ege question
fenge clinique na
saje kon sa ansano
wodi anya bakele nyinin karo folo na min wala kata coming mina mallo coming mina kata cult la miya lonko e kake problème to Gambia kono jam bakele adaw ko ne min fole ko suñarol ba ko kono le min kata theft case la anin ka bundal kati mol kana ka duy kana so malafla coming isa afo jibe lalie na bro suñaro ko la mina mu kudol to miya lonko ka kan satel kono jana miya lonko altalla department ka law action kan.
Okay, barka bake sa fa nyame ya fa nyame dek most of the cases ngamel soto akata related to sunyarola but na bada sunyarola nka case dol soto le mi alon is related to cyber crime wala nying computer molka mo nene computer silola or internet silola ka ase is a kodo tana mari buru wala e fentable mi alon ko wala ya e pare fanka to tinya so nka case dol soto le mi alon ko mol se tarano ila a relationship to wala be kanoto asela alsenatalol exchange so ay ta fo certain level rek amari na wuli kama asela fila yekuka me ya lonko ase ita emakeno so asina wo natalol ta ka foko is going to use it as a weapon or ka use pour ke mantora wala ke totinya ka janjande on the social media nka oke si wal sotole momi community ni mobe ka jala rek kanobe diare rek ya fenkia me ya lonko amang itete la fila modo e wo jabe la fila obetula imari ni wo da maletem bar sai wo mari na pareta wo ko ka janjande ka wajabinde andum Gambia ndol be ngalon na kon tol mo Gambia jang mo le nyolom bakale almost safa ko be family clinic so wo sifa akam na sifa keta kam batandi bake na doko kono anda kan kiyo fan farale ko mo sinano ka mola certain natalo miya lon ko mola awrobe funti kan dami ye pare wo janjandi la walla ye pare ka wo use against the person ko nama nyinke wala nama ko di nangam dila ete ba e ba funtindira la mobe nyaatili wala ayaje so wo sifa definitely be general public advice la mol nyante fo nyala wo sifa la amanyi nya andung is not amanke fenti miya lon ko na society ya kondon ka ndol ngalo na jammu dina bankolete when it comes to dino Gambia jam muslimo and muslime and Christianity wala gana siata Gambia jam andu nyin dina fulol be ni ajibe amanke kuti miya lonko nyin ko ya accept o ya support so wo sifa na society ma support even na culture ma support wo sifa dal mo nyante haklo to la woto bakel so the other thing is cybercrime atekana in different forms and na nata there is a special unit Mia Lonko Wolong is at the police headquarters, the fraud squad. Normally when natra from Kodiko dunta ye bake wala ye kuke Mia Lonko amari be kodo le nyininkala wala lafta ke la kodo bondila account and other things wolle kamara wo sifala. But yalo wo fana niba ko kiskisla ay certain londo le nyininka kadun these are things me along ko masingol kono comme like computer so ni de mari man end of train so in computer abe koliyala la pour ye wo find out foina kuso de je me along ko isina mari arrest no walla mo arrest ya samba kitio so those things are very important
ambala fla kata bakela drum bari wato man molso bakela nakacha kulo min kamta coming nga boble mi kana nyinin kan labonte la coming itiamira alla do ko kono la banko dumule min soto pour calma ko no kaja nyim problème wala dumal
okay makoyro yalon wo akumara bakele because Gambia police force ne ajibe nga challenge jamal soto because tonya nga le challenges jamal sort of when it comes to logistic like motor lakol motorcycle kata handcuffs and other things wo mu kulete mi alon ko sometimes but the main challenge mi alon ka kamol batandi because at times it has certain police station also ye case report is avoy ko moto mandara ye wala moto pantale imaria taxi hire wo manke kuti mi yalon ko adiyata Gambia police force ndolbe la fila ni momo na police station o ne ko report rek police wuli tariya ke tay ye ko ñun solve bare logistic is a challenge mi yalon ko be la fila general public la especially this thing be business partners call because tonya security ni banko security man taraje business te ta so business ning security e ñoo soto bakale so the business community finance police ma ko no amanka only police but even any other security force ke ma ko because definitely ne hane mo de clean sang yadi police la abe ku jamale ma ko la wo area to yadi milla so definitely the business community fana ni se police ma ko no anything wala motorcycle wala mototi or any other even from hane police force yeso fuel la fang abe mako la patrol of fangoto aldo ngalo ne masakunda be la kato dankala bar masakunda te ko be kala no because ndol mate je miya lon ko is a service institution under the police so mako ro woku mara je bakala
na final question about element la bob kala trakel mele majale bob kala we did a final statement la wolong iti amera community ya mu role soto pour ka apply into this la coming ka crime so report lombang wala ka tuje because dol kamera ni crime report e kemira fankol di ke ko mane tola informers be ko mane la ñu mëna faculty en dingo tora ñu kudol
okay o kuma
ni wasro no bulla in 1 minute la ba diara ñen bari
o kuma ra bagale because definitely police te tarano dula beto so ni kuketa ete kulong try na because molka for informant because ni moy kibaro di la miya lonko police work on it ite mari buke fundindi wo kesto so mo kibaru so mi yalon ka kumare yalon ko inin police a janjang no and then they can act on it ye kuta mandije come feel free we will always keep your identity bela be mabolal ite funtila je kudol ka ke cordal to molka bukala fika report especially when it comes to this domestic violence se moje fang ay nyape so ngurundun kan because of it all be ubadi wala yana foko nga ta badi bunga kacha wote mol makoyla ne ku ke rek ala funtinde aleta police olia alia report police olia then ntol sa jiben se kis role ka ngajibe be wo problème solve la nyami ha mbole dan lang jana pop
final statement la na kuntu woto.
Okay, anyway, I will say that in English. Anyway, I will thank all viewers for this and also the organizers of this program. It is a pleasure for, I know I could not say that we have played justice to this program, but definitely we have tried our level best to try to at least educate or highlight some of the issues that are happening. Sure. Even though it's not easy to give your best, but definitely with such, I think it will play a vital role in our community.
Thank you so much, Lawyer. Just a quick one at the room. Ita min basu wako no do yamera fo ka kuma kan fo police ole ko mi alan ka basu darim fena mi an ka be nyanto tinya wala ba hadamu do nyanto tinya la ay ke nafi ko di wo men ke nafi kiyati isere dina nyatan kol nyinenka ekata dino dinatila bi ekata muslim la o christianity christianity la adlarje mi atandi ko nieli poto di police la kula mi alan ka ba toro cinema wala ba toro sila badi ibadul ba sa te ko no jela wala mi man ka hani ibadul la be dan ko dron aba hadamu toro kan amman ke kutli mi an ka nafikiyat la odo community ale role jama so ka play wo geto min bajana la wala mi jala mi an ko bata han ka kati nyaroti la alle la kul ka tane bondi jela bari nda mallum folo nimi mo hayin ka aftani police la isa aftani la korda nyaton kola wala aftani alkalo la sa nyaton kola pour ya ko kele ni ma ko kele no oton sa aftani la mi an ka kele jela bari kana song na criminal habu na suko no la fo damanta e mental toran ko mental ko diamula remember I mean tora aturo sombrone fonka no somala wakana you could join us every Thursday 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. la Golden Bee Revolution on iAfrica. We apologize for taking too much of your time today la, and also not less of is a condition we are not in control of. So with that la, see you next week. Enjoy the rest of the programs.